My dear soldiers, we are going to start with a new topic, that is vouching. Vouching. This particular topic is basically comes for 8 to 10 to 12 marks. So it comes for 10 to 12 marks from the examination point of view. And this is also a very important topic. So what exactly is a vouching? The first thing which you will be doing in your articleship is vouching. It is what you are going to do is vouching. What exactly is a vouching? What is vouching? Vouching is the examination of accounting transaction with the documentary evidence. Come on, what is vouching? Come on, it's the examination of accounting transaction with the documentary evidence. Come on, what is vouching? Come on, it's the examination of. So repeat again one more time. What is vouching? It's an examination of accounting transaction with the. You as a auditor, you will examine the accounting transaction and compare it with the documentary evidence. Now let me give an example. What is the entry we pass for credit purchase? Purchase account debit to. Suppose say one supplier say X account, this is the entry we pass, 50,000, this is the entry we pass. How did I pass this entry? On what basis did I pass the entry? There was some document which was basis for me to pass this entry. I did not pass the entry just like that. Based on the document, I passed the entry. Now, I passed this entry based on what? A purchase bill. Now, whether an accountant will get a dream in night that today morning you have to pass this entry, bum 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 baba, today purchase entry will be 50,000, bum 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 baba, today purchase entry will be 1 lakh. No, I have to pass the entry based on some documentary evidence. Now purchase, what is the documentary evidence? It is the purchase bill, you are right, purchase bill or invoice. What are the contents of a purchase bill? Invoice number, yes, invoice number. Invoice date, then come on, raise your hand and talk. Seller's name and buyer's name, you're right. So supplier's name, then buyer's name, TIN number, then particulars, quantity, rate, and amount, and signatures. Actually here terms and condition. Yes, these are the brief content of a purchase bill. What is this, my dear soldiers? They are all brief content of what, my dear soldiers? They are all brief content of the purchase bill. That is what the purchase bill comprises of. Now using this purchase bill, I pass the entry purchase account debit to X account 50,000. This is the entry I have passed. Now what is vouching? What do you mean by vouching? It's an examination of accounting transaction with the documentary evidence. So what you will check? There are 7 golden rules of vouching. The first thing what you will check is whether the date of the voucher falls in the accounting period subject to audit. What is the first golden rule? Come on, whether the date of the voucher, don't write, listen to me first understand. Come on, what is the first golden rule? Come on, whether the date of the voucher falls in the accounting period subject to audit. Repeat, my dear soldiers, whether. Sir, give an example, sir. Suppose say I am doing audit of 2013 and 14. Now date mentioned on the voucher is, say for example 15 July 2007. Can I record 15 July 2007 entry in 13 and 14? The client will tell, I forgot to record the entry of 15 July 2007. That is why I am recording the transaction now. Is it acceptable? Does it stand to be acceptable? Does it stand to be acceptable? It does not stand to be acceptable. So definitely it is not standing to be acceptable. So now what happens? So as a auditor, the date is not matching. So date is not sufficing the requirement. It does not stand to be requirement actually here. So I cannot take this date. Suppose say date is 15 July 13. Should I record it? Should I record it? Yes or no? Should I record it, my dear soldiers? Yes. So the first golden rule vouching is that whether the date of the voucher falls in the accounting period subject to audit. Come on, what is the first golden rule? Come on, come on, repeat. What is the first golden rule? Come on, whether the second one, whether the transaction is properly recorded. What is the second one? Come on, whether the proper account is debited, proper account is credited, whether transaction is properly recorded, you need to check. So, whether proper account is debited or credited, you need to check. Now, here, the supplier name is K. What entry you have passed? What entry you have passed? Purchase account debit to X account. Is it correct? Supplier name is K. You are taking into a wrong supplier account. Acceptable, not acceptable? Not acceptable. It cannot stand to be acceptable. You need to check that whether transaction is properly recorded, whether proper account is debited or credited. Then, the third golden rule, whether transaction belongs to the client. What is the third golden rule? Come on. What is the third golden rule? Come on. Suppose say my client here is S International. I am doing the audit of his book. In the place of buyer, what name should be mentioned? S International. Somebody else's name is mentioned. Suppose say B name is mentioned, C name is mentioned. Now, is it acceptable? You need to check that whatever you have purchased is the purchase bill in the name of the client. Does the transaction belong to the client? Is the owner of the client? Somebody else's bill can I record in the books? Please tell me, yes or no? Somebody else transaction you cannot record in the book. You can never record in the book actually. So that is the one thing actually here. So whether the transaction is properly recorded. What do you need to check? Come on, whether the... Come on, repeat again one more time. Whether the... Repeat again one more time. Whether the... Repeat again one more time. Whether the... Properly recorded. Then next one. The next important thing what you need to understand is that check whether description of transaction is properly recorded. What is the fourth golden rule? Come on, whether the... What is the fourth golden rule, my dear soldiers? When you pass a journal entry, see we will pass purchase account debit to X. At the bottom what you will write? Being, yes, you will write some explanation. Yes or no? Are you recording a proper description or not? You need to check. Suppose say you purchased automobile parts. After purchasing automobile parts, you are putting it a description as you purchase some inventory. You purchase some capital asset, but you are showing it as an inventory. Acceptable? Not acceptable. So you need to check that whether description of transaction is properly recorded. Is it related to the objectives of the business? Then next one, fifth golden rule. Whether the voucher is properly authorized. What is the fifth golden rule? Come on, whether the... Come on, repeat again one more time. Whether the... What is the fifth golden rule? Come on, whether the... One more time, whether the... Repeat again one more time, whether the... One more time. The sixth golden rule is that whether the amount of voucher is properly recorded. What is the sixth golden rule? Come on, whether the... Suppose as per the purchase bill shows amount as 1 lakh. How much they are showing in the transaction? How much they are showing? Acceptable, not acceptable? Not acceptable. So, sixth golden rule of vouching is what? Whether the amount is properly recorded. Come on, repeat again one more time. Whether the amount is properly recorded. So, now you have purchase bill of 1 lakh, but you are showing as 50,000, not acceptable. And the seventh golden rule is that check the internal control in recording of transaction. What is the seventh golden rule? Come on, check the... What is internal control? It's a plan, policy or procedure of organization. What is internal control? Come on, it's a... Repeat again, what is internal control? It's a plan. That is what we understand by internal control. Come on, what is internal control? It's a plan, policy or procedure of organization. So that is what we understand by internal control. Are you clear? Have you understood? Are you clear with the concept? What are the 7 golden rules of vouching? 1. Check the Date of the voucher falls in the accounting period subject to audit. Second one, whether the transactions are properly recorded. Proper account is debited, proper account is credited. What is the third golden rule? Whether the transaction belongs to the client's business. What is the fourth golden rule? Whether the description of transaction is properly recorded. What is the fourth golden rule? Come on. What is the fifth golden rule? Come on. Whether the voucher is properly authorized. What is the sixth golden rule? What is the sixth golden rule? Whether the amount of voucher properly posted. And seventh golden rule, whether check the internal control in recording of transaction. What is the seventh golden rule? Come on, check the recording of transaction. Repeat again one more time. One, what is the first one? Check the second golden rule, my dear soldiers. Third golden rule, my dear soldiers. Fourth one. 5, 6, 7. Now my dear soldiers, look at this. Using voucher, do I pass accounting entry or journal entry? Yes or no? Using voucher, am I passing accounting entry and journal entry? Yes or no? Now using journal entry, I am posting into ledger. Am I posting into ledger? From ledger, where I am going? Trial balance. From trial balance, where I am going? Financial statement. Where I am going? Come on, my dear soldiers. I am going to financial statement. Yes or no? Now, what does the auditor checks? What does the auditor give opinion on? What does he give opinion on? Yes, auditor will give opinion on. Yes, auditor is giving opinion on financial statement. What does auditor check? Auditor will check what, my dear soldiers? Auditor will check the financial statement. That is what an auditor does. He checks the financial statement. Repeat again one more time. Based on voucher, what do you pass? Then from there it goes to what? From ledger it goes to where? From trial balance it goes to where? Based on financial statement, what do you give? What is vouching? When you examine voucher with the accounting entry, this process is known as what? Come on? Vouching. Yes or no? When you examine the voucher with the accounting entry is known as vouching. So now look at this, my dear soldier. Do you think if based on voucher, if I pass wrong accounting entry, will it affect my ledger? Will it affect my trial balance? Will it affect my financial statement? Yes or no? Don't you think vouching is fundamental to audit? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Is it fundamental for audit? That is why vouching is very, very important. And as I told you, the first thing which you will learn in your articleship is always a vouching. Make a note of it. Write down. Vouching refers to examination of accounting transaction. Vouching refers to examination of accounting transaction with the documentary evidence. This documentary evidence is known as voucher. This documentary evidence is known as what, my dear soldiers? It is known as voucher.